at MacArthur, this is actually our 40th year of impact investing. I have not been involved with it for that amount of time, but we're really excited that we've been doing impact investing for 40 years, and for all of that time, we've focused on impact first catalytic capital, principally in the form of program-related investments as a way to support our various foundation strategies. For us, this has meant deploying over $750 million to support CDFIs, affordable housing, climate solutions, entrepreneurs of color, indigenous autonomy, and many other areas. But what's brought us to this work is a desire to solve problems, or more specifically, capital gaps that aren't being addressed through conventional forms of capital. And these gaps can come in many forms, many shapes and sizes, including support for innovation. And an example of an investment that's addressing this gap is something like the Prime Impact Fund, which is looking at climate relevant technologies and helping to bridge them across the technology valley of death. We're also looking at gaps that are focused on difficult to reach people and places. So something like Impact America Fund, which is a Black woman-led fund that's looking at solutions that are relevant to the communities they're trying to serve, or Anchor Capital, which is focused on it's an Indian-based fund that's looking at early stage technologies in India. So difficult to reach people and places, another gap that's really relevant here. Establishing a demonstrable track record for emerging managers. So something like what Bahia Robinson is doing with Keith Spears at Include Ventures, where they're looking to support emerging managers from more historically marginalized communities. And then difficult or challenging business models. And an example there is something like what Kim Folsom is trying to do with Founders First Capital Partners, where she's trying to scale a national platform for revenue-based financing, principally to support entrepreneurs of color in the United States. So in all of these cases, we're starting with the problem, and then we're looking to deploy suitable forms of capital to bridge that gap and to specifically address the problem. This is to us why catalytic capital is so important. It's because it solves problems. It's because it enables, as Fran stated, the seeding, scaling, and sustaining of impact, and because it serves as really a complement to the other forms of investment across the full spectrum of capital. And that idea of this as complementary is really important. We don't think of catalytic capital as better than other forms of capital. It only works effectively if it's complementary and working in concert with these other tools across a full spectrum of capital. When we think of catalytic capital being deployed, we think of it in two principal ways. So one is horizontally, and what I mean by that is that we're deploying the capital earlier than a more conventional investor. So the capital is being deployed in more of a pari passu manner, but it's taking disproportionate risk, and it's then seeking to mobilize capital downstream from the investment that's occurring. Or there's more of a vertical form of catalytic capital, where the capital we're deploying is happening in a coincident manner with the capital you're trying to mobilize. So it's within some kind of a blended finance capital stack. And in this case, again, it's mobilizing capital at the time of deployment. So this horizontal or vertical form of catalytic capital, both are really critical, and both have unique and specific use cases. Ultimately, this interplay of catalytic capital across the full spectrum of capital, this has real potential to unlock significant pools of private financing that are essential to helping close the SDG funding gap and to achieving the ultimate goal, which is a more equitable and inclusive economy. And